You ever get that feeling like you don't just want to tweak things a little bit, but totally reinvent yourself?
Yeah, like a complete overhaul, start fresh.
Exactly. Well, we looked at this YouTube video, How to Disappear and Transform Yourself.
Hmm?
And it really tackles that idea, head on.
It does. It proposes this really intense, focused period of, well, disappearing almost, going off grid for serious self-improvement.
Like a shortcut to major growth, maybe? Get it done fast and deep.
Well, the video frames it that way. And what's interesting is the sheer intentionality behind it. It's not just wishful thinking.
Right. It's active.
Yeah, actively designing your life for this change. And it breaks it down into 3 main parts, basically. The disappearing act itself, then what you actually do while you're, in the shadows.
The work.
The core work, yeah. And then finally, reappearing, although the video adds a bit of a twist there at the end.
Okay. And the creator really stresses that you need all 3, right? Like skipping a step could mess the whole thing up.
Exactly. They're all linked. Miss one, and the foundation's shaky.
Got it. So our mission here for you is to really unpack these 3 phases. We'll look at the advice, figure out the why behind it, and pull out stuff you could actually use if you're thinking about a big push like this.
Sounds good. Where do we start? Disappearing.
Yeah, let's dive into disappearing. Okay, first piece of advice, shut your mouth, which sounds pretty blunt.
It does, doesn't it? But there's a logic there, thinking about, like, social psychology.
Okay.
Well, the video suggests that the more you talk about your plans, your ambitions, your life, the more you open yourself up to outside stuff that can subtly knock you off course.
Like other people's opinions or even just their energy, maybe.
Yeah, kind of like social interference.
Mm-hmm.
Your own initial drive gets diluted, I guess.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I've heard that thing where, like, telling someone your goal gives you a little bit of satisfaction, almost like you did something.
Right, like a premature reward. You get the dopamine hit just from talking, which can, weirdly, make you less motivated to do the actual work.
Huh. So the advice is basically total information lockdown.
Right.
Except maybe with a partner who's completely supportive.
That's the idea, which is, really tough. Sharing stuff is so human.
Totally. It feels like how we connect, how we survive even, historically, sharing info.
It absolutely has been crucial, evolutionarily speaking. But for this specific purpose, intense personal transformation, the video argues that instinct can actually scatter your focus.
So you need to fight that urge.
Yeah. It suggests learning to sort of catch your thoughts before they become words, to, like, cultivate a bit of mystery around what you're doing and thinking.
Create some private space for the plans to actually grow without being poked at too early.
Exactly. Protect those fragile new intentions.
Okay, so less talking. What's next in disappearing? Only care what you think. That sounds liberating, but also hard.
It's a big mental shift for sure. It's about changing where validation comes from.
How so?
Well, the video points out something psychologists know. We tend to think people are paying way more attention to us than they actually are.
The spotlight effect, right?
Exactly. But even if they aren't really watching that closely, the belief that they are still shapes how we act, what we do.
Okay, so we're acting based on imagined judgment.
Often, yeah. So the technique suggested is to create this strong internal judge, you whose opinion is the only one that really counts. It's about taking back control.
Building your own internal compass, maybe? So you're not constantly looking outside for approval?
Precisely. Setting your own standards and measuring yourself against those, not some perceived external expectation. You become, as the video puts it, less of a puppet of others.
I like that. But like holding your tongue, that feels like it needs serious practice. It's not a switch you just flip.
Oh, absolutely not. It's probably constant work, actively noticing when you're seeking that external nod and redirecting consciously back to your own values and goals, building self-trust.
Right. Makes sense. Okay, the third part of disappearing. Hide your plans. This feels connected to the shut your mouth idea, but maybe more specific to ambitions.
Yeah, it zooms in on your actual goals. The video uses this kind of metaphorical idea. Like, every time you share a detail about your plan, its chance of success drops by, say, 5%.
Okay, maybe not literally 5%, but the point is sharing weakens it somehow.
That's the concept. It ties back to that premature satisfaction thing, maybe. Or maybe just keeping the energy contained, focused. The less you talk about doing it, the more energy you have for doing it.
Like keeping the pressure in the cooker until it's ready.
Good analogy, yeah. So keep those big ambitions close to your chest. But the video does make a point about getting advice. It's not saying never talk to anyone.
Oh, okay. So how do you get help if you need it?
Very carefully. The term used is surgical intentionality.
Ooh, sounds serious.
It just means being super targeted. You figure out exactly what you need to know, find the right person who has that knowledge, reveal only the absolute minimum needed to get the answer.
Get the intel.
Get the intel, and then retreat back into your bat cave of progress. No casual broadcasting of your grand vision.
Strategic strikes for information. Got it. Okay, next one. Hide your progress. So even when things start working, keep it quiet. That feels really counterintuitive, especially now with social media.
Totally. The default is often achieve something, show it off, get the likes, feel good.
Right. You get fit, you post the picture, you make some money, you hint at it.
Exactly. But the video warns that doing that shifts your focus. You start chasing the external applause instead of staying focused on the internal drive for, like, mastery or continued improvement.
So the validation becomes the goal, not the actual progress itself. And maybe you stop working as hard once you get the praise.
That's the risk. You get the reward prematurely, maybe ease off, and could even slide back into old ways.
So what's the alternative? Just ignore the wins.
Not ignore them for yourself, but resist showing them off. The video suggests taking that energy, the urge to boast or display, and channeling it back into the work. Use it as fuel.
That's clever. Let the results fuel more results internally.
Yeah, keep the momentum going based on your own satisfaction and the work itself, not the external feedback loop. Stay focused on becoming, not just showing.
Okay. This is intense. And the last step in disappearing sounds the most intense emotionally. Hide your tears, blood failures.
No.
Basically, suffer in silence.
It's definitely leaning into the tough side of things. The video acknowledges that real change is hard. There will be setbacks, frustration, moments you feel like quitting.
Yeah, the blood, sweat, and tears part.
Exactly. And our instinct is often to reach out, complain, seek comfort, venting.
Sure, get sympathy.
But this phase says resist that. Try to process those struggles, those failures on your own. Build that solitary resilience.
Wow, that's asking a lot. Why? What's the benefit of struggling alone?
The idea is that navigating those hard times by yourself builds serious inner strength, character, fortitude. It argues that those moments of hitting rock bottom aren't just things to endure, they're actually opportunities.
Opportunities for what?
For breakthroughs. Sometimes the biggest leaps happen right after the biggest struggles. If you can push through it yourself, you develop deeper self-reliance and problem-solving muscles.
So don't run from the pain, lean into it, almost.
Kind of. The video even suggests trying to reframe it. See the struggle, the failure as valuable data, feedback that you're pushing limits, maybe even learn to embrace the difficulty.
Okay, that's a powerful mindset shift. So, all right, we've gone underground, shut up, focused inward, hidden the plans, the progress, the pain. Now what? We're in the shadows.
Yeah.
Time to transform.
Exactly. Now the real work begins. And the first step here is pick your targets.
It seems basic, but I guess the clarity matters.
Hugely. You can't transform into something if you haven't clearly defined what that something is. Vague desires lead to vague results.
Right, like get better isn't a target.
No, the video pushes for specifics. Write down the goals. Make them clear, measurable, like run a 10K in under an hour, or build a business that generates X income, or master this specific skill. Keep them visible, but only to you. Still private.
So laser focus requires a clear target. Got it. Then the next piece of advice sounds all-encompassing. Revolve your life around crushing it.
Yeah, this speaks to the level of dedication required. It's not a hobby.
It's a full-time job.
Or more like an organizing principle for your entire life, at least for this period. The video talks about planning basically every waking hour towards those goals you just set, cultivating an obsessed mentality, but in a focused, productive way.
Obsessed sounds intense.
It is, but it means being incredibly intentional. Every action, every choice is weighed against whether it moves you closer to the target.
Could you give examples?
Sure. The video mentions things like maybe you move closer to the gym if fitness is your goal, or you block out non-negotiable time every single day for your project. You build your environment and schedule around the transformation.
Designing your life for success.
Exactly. And it's not just set it and forget it. It also recommends constantly reviewing the plan, updating it, breaking down big goals into smaller steps. Active management.
Okay. Relentless focus. Structured life. What's the last part of transforming in the shadows? Reprogram your mind. It sounds deep.
It is. This is about changing your internal experience of the process. Learning to actually enjoy the work, the discipline, the solitude.
Enjoy the grind. That sounds difficult.
The video frames it as learning to find satisfaction in the effort itself, shifting your definition so that happiness is crushing it, finding joy in the focus, the progress, the dedication.
So you're not just enduring the hard work waiting for the result, you're finding value in the process of working hard.
That's the idea. It admits it might feel strange at first, this kind of secret, intense effort. But the suggestion is you can cultivate an appreciation for it, even find peace in the focus.
That mental reprogramming seems vital for sticking with it long enough for real change to happen.
Absolutely. It's about aligning your internal state with your external actions. Creates a really powerful self-reinforcing loop.
Okay, so we've disappeared, we've done the intense work in the shadows, reprogrammed our minds. Now it's time for the big reveal, right? Reappear.
Well, this is where that twist comes in. The video suggests something pretty unexpected might happen.
Which is?
That after you've truly transformed, after all that deep, private work, the original desire to reappear and show everyone might just evaporate.
Really? You wouldn't want to show off the results after all that?
Maybe not. The idea is you might become so integrated with this new version of yourself, so comfortable and fulfilled by the process and the internal results, that the need for external validation just fades away.
Huh. So you've changed so much that the old motivations don't apply anymore.
Kind of. You might have evolved beyond needing that external applause. Your focus might stay internal on continuing to grow, setting even bigger goals perhaps, but doing it from this new place of quiet confidence.
You become like one with the shadow, as the video puts it.
Something like that. You find this sense of calming peace in the shadows. You've built a new life, a new way of being that's intrinsically satisfying, and you don't actually need to make a big public comeback. You just continue living that transformed life.
Wow. Okay, that's a really different endpoint than you'd expect.
It is. It suggests the transformation itself is the reward, not the eventual reveal.
Okay, so let's recap this deep dive quickly. Based on this Feel Real Good video, the path to major transformation involves 3 key stages. First, disappear. Shut your mouth, care only what you think, hide plans, progress, and struggles, basically. Go internal.
Right. Then, transform in the shadows. Pick specific targets, revolve your life around achieving them with intense focus, and reprogram your mind to find satisfaction in the process itself.
And finally, the potential outcome isn't necessarily a grand reappearance, but maybe finding you no longer need it because you've found peace and fulfillment in your new, transformed self operating from the shadows.
Exactly. It really challenges that common idea that success only counts if everyone sees it. It puts the focus squarely on intrinsic growth and satisfaction.
It's a powerful framework. So a final thought maybe for you listening. Where in your life could a period of this kind of focused private work make the biggest difference? What might you achieve if you decided to, embrace the shadows for a while?
Definitely something we're thinking about.